Okay. Freaking hack. Now, I make a quick comment about the fact here. Just as they're making awful noises. Or maybe are they gonna stop now? No, of course not. Okay. So, whenever something new ever makes something new from Star Wars makes some sort of reference to Knights of the Old Republic, I always get a little too giddy for my own good, and it makes me think like, yes, they haven't forgotten about this game. Surely somebody will recanonize it, remake it, and hopefully finish it. Because part of my obsession with these games are not that these are the greatest games I ever played. Certainly I love them, but it's these games were also one of my first experience in life with deep, crushing disappointment when the storylines of these games were eventually sacrificed to make the Old Republic a thing. Because, make no mistake, the Old Republic is built upon the graves of Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. Awesome, level up. Anyway, that got up into a huge tangent. But tags actually appear in Jedi Fallen Order, and there's even an option for you to use BD1 to scan a tag and get a journal type entry in your logs in that game. So when I saw that, I remember thinking like, yes, they know about Knights of the Old Republic, and for all I know, the people said the signed Kashyyyk for Jedi Fallen Order didn't play this game. They probably did a Wikipedia dive and found an entry on tags and said like, oh yeah, let's add these monkeys into the background. Why not? Almost level 15. Alright, so when do let's get Persuade and up our computer use. Feats, nice. Yes. Master Flurry. I don't need any. Well, that's not true. Master Shield. I should be using Shield more. So, Mr. Bindo.
Well, welcome to my home, such as it is. Pull up a stump and be comfortable. We should discuss a few things.
No offense, but I don't have much time.
You'll have nothing but time if you don't take what help you can. I've been here for many years. I know things. Remember that. My days of glory are behind me, but perhaps there is something I can do for you. You must have questions.
I need information about problems on Kashyyyk.
Yes, among the Wookiees. Intriguing creatures. I like that they have little patience for bureaucrats. But of course, even here, there are hidden things that manipulate.
What do you know of Chundar?
Circa Corporation was smart to put him in power. He's as good at destroying Wookiee culture as dropping corpses full of our Droxian flu. Will you work for him or against him, I wonder? I will be interested to see.
Brief comment about Jolie here. It's so weird that this game, for whatever reason, the characters really don't ever voice an opinion or dislike you for choosing one path or another. Like I think there should have been some outcome where what you did on Kashyyyk was just so bad, so horrible, that Jolie refuses to join your party. I think that would be more true to his character. But, whatever, video game, right? You don't have a recommendation?
Sure. How's this? Think for yourself. I don't care for politics. I'm big on letting people figure things out for themselves. The Wookiees have prophecies.
Yeah, but what about you? Don't you have any agency?
But for now, they follow without hesitation. That is their wish.
Have you seen a crazed Wookiee in the Shadowlands?
Maddened with grief, perhaps, but not crazed. I helped him pass to the lower forest where only a Wookiee could follow. Some other matters will determine if you can follow. There's a barrier that, well, we'll talk of that in a moment.
Do you recognize these bowcaster bolts? I found them on a corpse.
On the body of Rorwar, I know. His death will not go unnoticed. I've been wondering how this foolishness would play out. I am no weaponsmith, but someone in the village will be able to identify the owner of that bolt casing. They are very personal items.
I want to ask you some questions.
Fine, just be brief.
I want to talk about you.
What is there to tell? Jolie Bindo is the crazy old man in the dangerous woods. I'm content with the impression I give.
But you use a lightsaber in battle. You're a Jedi.
I follow the Jedi way and I command the Force, yes. I suppose that makes me as much a Jedi as anyone, but what of it? Why should being what I am compel me to entertain others with tales of the good old days, huh? I've seen my share of the dark and the light. Frankly, both extremes annoy me. Of course, I have felt rumblings of change. Perhaps you will be of some assistance to me after all. Let us discuss what you came here for.
You're difficult to deal with. It worries me.
And it makes you think I may have the taint of the dark side in me, doesn't it? Ooh. Is that what you're wondering, huh? Ooh. Well, I assure you, I see more gray than dark or light. I'm just a stubborn old man, tired of the foolishness of others.
I want to ask you some questions.
Fine, just be brief.
Have you any knowledge of Starman?
Now, why would you be asking about that, Don't answer. I knew that had to be why you were here. The problems of a few Wookiees don't amount to anything before the concerns of the Jedi. No, you are here for the map.
If you have information, please tell me.
Kashyyyk is an interesting place. More so than anyone suspects. If Circa Corporation knew, the planet would be a strip mine. The Wookiees have their legends that they were not always here. But it is more than that. The trees themselves are strangers.
I don't understand. Can you be more specific?
What I'm saying is that there are literally walls in your way. And you won't find what you need without my help. And my help has a price. You must do a task for me, and then allow me to join with you. I will then remove certain barriers in your path.
Why should I trust you, you crazy old fool? That crazy old cook?
Oh, save it. I know this sounds absurd, but I'm old and entitled to work you around a bit. Besides, the test is simple. Since they began expanding in the Shadowlands, the Circa have left me alone for the most part. Until recently, anyway. A group of them set up camp not far from here. Poachers is all they are. I'd like them removed from this place.
Why do you care if they are here?
They don't respect this place. They're butchering wildlife and threatening entire species. It's getting under my skin. The Wookiees could take care of themselves if they wished, but the animals are truly helpless victims.
I see. So the aged semi-Jedi wants me to get some kids off his lawn.
Yes, I'm an old man that's getting fussy. Call me foolish if you will. I don't care. You still have to do it. Their camp is in the far northeast. Remember, if I wanted them dead, I'd have done it myself. Find a better way.
Where are they now? How many men?
They are not that far northeast of here. There's usually 5 in the area, as far as I can see. The captain of the lot is the one that earned my ire. Mishandled my garden, Willie.
I will look into it.
Good. Return to me here and we'll see how you have done. Shoot!
Alright. But before that, let's actually handle some other business here.
Malfunction. My primary motivators are in error. Damage terminal. Playback call. Playback.
I don't get it. That merchant said there was salvage down here. We need Matin to work the sensors.
Playback.
When he gets back, we'll... Wait, I'm getting something. Oh good, it's Eli. Maybe he'll point us in the right direction.
Playback.
Eli, what are you... You got your money, you double-crossing snake? We had a deal!
What happened to you?
Playback.
I don't get it.
Playback. Playback.
Let's grab you and take what I can.
Shutting down. Primary.
Oh. Blew up in my face. But yeah, I'm gonna go after clearing out the rest of these beasts. Gonna finish some of the stuff so we'll get Come at me.
You asked for this!
Let's see. Yeah. Let's make the best use of this function of letting us talk to our party members whenever we want.
Yes, what's on your mind?
Tell me why you want revenge on Soul so badly. Let's just have this casual conversation. The Shadow Ones.
I already told you, he betrayed us all.
It just seems to be more personal than it is. I should not have done this. The tag guy in the background.
Well, there is more to it. I'm sure you don't want to hear about it.
I asked, didn't I?
It's just that I don't talk about it very much, okay? I told you about my homeworld, Telos. 4 years ago, Saul led the Sith fleet there and demanded its surrender. The planet refused, and Saul proceeded to devastate its entire surface. Millions died. I had a wife and a son on Telos. I thought they would be safe there, but my task force arrived too late to be of much help. We didn't have enough medical supplies. The colony was burning and the dying were everywhere. I remember holding my wife and screaming for the medics, but they didn't.
I'm sorry. That's terrible. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Of course not. How could you? I had nothing left after that, really. I devoted myself to the fleet. Hunting Saul was my only purpose. I miss him. And I know killing Saul won't bring him back. And it won't make me happy again, but I have to do it. I don't expect you to understand, but I have to pay him back for what he's done. I have to. It's all I have left.
What's she like, your wife?
She had courage, and she was stubborn. Could never talk her out of anything when she put her mind to it. And she hated it when I signed back onto the fleet at the start of the war. Now, I had planned on leaving soon, to join her.
So what happened to your son? You didn't say.
His name was Dustin, and I don't know what happened to him. The colony was a complete ruin, and we never found any trace of him. I made inquiries and followed the reports from Telos for years, but I stopped. Anyway, I hope that answers your questions. Let's continue with what we were doing.
More feats that I know what to do. So Karth is... I've expounded on him quite a bit. I've said that I like his character. I think he's interesting, somewhat contradictory as to initially he's obviously very heroic, waiting for you to come to him in order so that he won't abandon the last remaining soldier in the Endar's fire. But once you actually start talking to him, he's like, "Ah, don't trust you. Can't trust anybody. Leave me alone." But he's also shown to be somewhat of a patriot when it comes to the Republic, which I think is one of the few instances that you see that kind of devotion to the Republic. And the reason why that's noteworthy is the Republic isn't really a formal state, if you will, or not the normal type of state that we see in our real world. It's a conglomeration of states. The Republic is your people become members of it, and they elect however many senators and representatives it is to represent them on the Galactic Senate. But I think probably the real world equivalent to it would be the United Nations or the European Union. But it's not like the United Nations has its own army. The European Union doesn't have its own armies. The member states of the European Union have their own armies. So when the Republic has soldiers like Karth, like, how do they find themselves to be patriotic for this highly bureaucratic organization? Yeah, whatever. Take me up. Highly bureaucratic organization that is essentially there to facilitate trade between different member states. Something that potentially Star Wars could explain is, which I don't think they've ever done, and maybe they have. I've mentioned this before. I've never played the Old Republic because of my undying hatred for that game and what it did to Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. But why would somebody be so patriotic as Karth is right here to the Republic when it's not like you were born in the Republic? No, he was born in Telos. His homeworld is Telos. If he's patriotic to something, it would be Telos, yet he devotes himself entirely to not the Telos military, but rather to the Republic military. Why would somebody do that? What is it about the Republic
You asked for this!
that would garner such loyalty from people? Because it's not like the Republic is this bastion of democracy. It's not like every member state in the Republic is a democracy, because they're not. There's monarchies. I believe there's even a couple of dictatorships in the Republic. You just have to be a planet of your own, a state of your own, and then you can join the Republic, and as long as you follow their laws and pay taxes.
Time to rumble! Down you go! Power equipment. Time to rumble!
Anyway, we're getting pretty close to, I think, one more conversation, or maybe that was it. Yeah, I think that must have been it. I think we should be able to trigger Karth's personal quest at some point. And maybe now when we're going back to the spaceport, we'll see that. Though I'm not sure if I've ever triggered it in Kashyyyk. I know I've triggered it in Tatooine and in Dantooine. Oh, here we go. I knew I missed it. Yeah, I wasted 8 computer spikes when that guy dropped off. space card that I could have used on that terminal near the Wookiee village. Oh well. But before... Oh, here he is? No, wait, yeah. It should be him.
Karth! Karth Onesi, is that you?
Jordo?
It is you, isn't it? I knew it when I laid eyes on you. You old space dog. How've you been? I thought for sure you'd be fighting on some ship out there.
I was. I crashed.
That's pretty rich. I can't
Also funny,
imagine what it would take to keep you on the ground. Must have something to do with your friend here, eh? How's it going?
You're a friend of Karth, I take it? Or, sorry, no. Nice to meet you, Jordo.
So what are you doing here, Jordo? Last time I saw you was on, well, Telos, actually.
Yeah, it's a shame about home. Telos still hasn't recovered. The family and I moved on, and I'm working for Zerka now. I didn't see you after... what I mean is, my condolences on your wife. I heard what happened. At least your boy made it through all right.
My boy? You mean Dustle?
Yes, of course. I saw him at my last stop on Korriban. Though he didn't recognize me. You didn't know he was there?
No. Jordo, Dustle's been missing since the attack on Telos. Are you absolutely certain it was him?
Yeah, I'd recognize Dustle anywhere. Positive. He's joined the Sith, Garth.
What do you mean he's joined the Sith?
There's an academy for the Sith on Korriban. He's a student there. I saw him suited up in their outfit and everything. Sorry, I thought you knew.
No, I didn't. Well, thanks for telling me, Jordo.
Sure, no problem. Good to see you again, Karth. Hope everything works out with Dustle.
Dustle? Dustle is alive. We have to go to the Korriban Academy and find him.
I understand. We'll go as soon as possible.
Thank you. I just have to see him. I have to know what happened to him. All this time I thought he was... I mean, he must be a man by now.
Okay. Brief comment on that, because Jordo just told us that Dustle is a student of the Sith, so that's a dead giveaway that he is a Force adept. Now, the Force and how it works, it's never really explained. It's not meant to be explained very well. It's just a mystical force that binds all life together in the universe. And somehow, certain people are able to manipulate it. I think there's enough evidence in the universe of Star Wars to conclude that Force sensitivity is and can be almost like genetically passed on to the next generation. So there might actually be some sort of implication here that if Karth's son is a Force sensitive, then Karth himself is Force sensitive because of his relation to him. Now, I know that's a bit of a wild leap in logic, because there's stories out there of children of two Force-sensitive parents who are unable to feel the Force, but I would say that those are the exception rather than the rule. Look at Luke Skywalker and Leia. They're obviously Force-sensitive and inherited that from their parents. Look at Rey, and she's Force-sensitive, and look who her grandfather was. And I think some of the things that you can point to say, yeah, like Karth is Force sensitive, is he kind of calls out a lot of the interesting things in the story and has a somewhat of a he has some premonitions about what happens and what's happening right now, which could be interpretive as Force sensitivity. So maybe we have here a somebody who could have been a Jedi. But again, maybe reading too much into that. Stuck to these fine gentlemen.
So, new spaces have come to Wild Kashyyyk. Please, look well upon the wares of Eli Gand. I live to serve your needs.
Just be sure to pay cash. The interest on his loans will drain you like a diluvian fatworm on a hut's backside.
First off, huts are all backside. Secondly, I don't much like the comparison. No need to get personal. It's just business. Poor fellow. He's been waiting for his friends to return with my money for a standard month now. But you don't need to hear this. What can I get you?
I found this droid head. Can I ask you about it?
Droid head? On Kashyyyk? Let me see that.
It's nothing. I'm certain. Just garbage from the forest floor.
Mere rubbish. It's DAO2, the repair droid from my ship. What was this doing in the forest?
It recorded an ambush. Someone yells Eli's name.
Eli, you snake. You said my crew jacked the ship without paying the repair bill.
Well, it's not how it looks. You see, a good mechanic is hard to find, and...
And what? I thought I owed you. You tricked them into the Shadowlands and killed them while I fixed your freighter in orbit.
Don't act harshly, Madden. Eli is through. Violence won't help.
Now keep your head, Madden. It was just business.
Well, aren't I a diplomat?
That Thalian bog slime. Do you know I've been here 36 days slaving to pay a debt in good faith?
He won't last long enough at hiding in the Shadowlands.
I have to admit, I'm surprised you let him get away. I don't know if I could have been as forgiving.
I will never understand you, meatbags. He cheated you and killed your friends, but you didn't terminate him when you had the chance.
Well, I could have shot out his legs and let him crawl around for a while, but I consider this far more merciful.
I suppose that closes this little outpost here.
I suppose it does. But maybe I should keep it up for a while on my own. I have no ship at the moment anyway. It'll probably take a while to convince Eli's suppliers that I'm the new boss, but eventually I'll buy my way off this rock.
In that case, let's see what's for sale.
Alright then. Actually, I feel like I owe you something. Here, take a few credits. If you spend it here, all the better. I think things are looking up.
And he doesn't really sell anything that I want to buy. I think this is the one unique item, which is too expensive for me. Jamo Hograth was a Sabrak mercenary who feared for his life after a raid on a Sith dreadnought. He spent a fortune on his personal armor only to be killed while in the bath. Cool story, bro. And before I forget, how many 9,000 experience before the next level? Well, let me make sure to at least talk to Juhani and Candaris.
Yeah, what do you want?
I was wondering if you had any more war stories.
You want another war story, huh? You want to hear about some other world getting wasted, huh? I knew you were the type. Your stagnant republic has never seen some of the strange creatures and races we fought on the Outer Rim in those years. And you never will now.
What do you mean?
If a world isn't strong enough to defend itself, it's basically forfeit. But this story is about something a little different. We were going through the asteroid fields of the Crispin system at the very edge of the galaxy, playing with the pirates and smugglers we found there. The main belt in the Crispin system consists of mainly small rocks covered in frozen methane gas shells, and the pirates were using them for cover. Ha! I remember using a thermal generator to cause the outer layer of one of the asteroids to vaporize in a picosecond. It blew out and shredded the 3 smugglers using it for cover. But that was a mistake.
Did it backfire?
The asteroid I had targeted was smaller than most, maybe a dozen meters on a side. On the outside, it looked the same as any other, just a ball covered in frozen gas. But something must have been inside it. something inactive in the cold. The heat of my blast might have triggered something or woken something up. After I'd hit it, spots of light and heat appeared all over the thin shell, still covering it, evaporating the gases. What lay underneath looked like some sort of rocky growth. A deformed rock, pitted by scores of micrometeorite scars. I think something even older might have been inside that.
What happened next?
It started rotating faster and faster as we watched it. After a second, it started spraying fire, thermal projectiles that melted our armor like wax. We were caught completely by surprise. Before we could counterattack, it fled at an incredible speed.
A ship?
We couldn't catch it, but we could follow its hyperspace wake. We followed its trail as far as we could, heading away from the galactic core. When it finally led beyond the edge of our galaxy, we abandoned our efforts. Anything that wants to commit suicide in that great void is not worth our trouble trying to catch. That's the only story I have for now. I'll tell you some more stuff later if we get the chance. Is there something else you want to know?
Nothing for now.
Your choice. I'm here if you want something done right.
Now, I always... Well, not always, really. When I really wanted to put any thought into this story that he just told us, is that maybe what he was shooting at was some sort of Rakatan device that he activated with his shooting at it, and that when it reached the edge of known space, it actually went to Rakatan space, which is when they finally decided, like, screw that, we're not gonna follow it that far. But either that or it's really just meant to be ambiguous and you're not supposed to know what it is.
Yes. What is it?
Is something wrong?
I have been bothered by something of late.
What is it?
I never told you where I came from, did I? Where I grew up as a child? I suppose I was trying to deny what I was feeling.
What?
I have been wrestling with my feelings inside. Trying to come to terms with it, but I find I cannot. I must have someone to blame. Someone to blame for the destruction of my homeworld. Someone who is responsible for the death of everyone I have ever known, except those on Dantooine.
Yawn. You mean... sorry, what are you saying?
Taris. It was Taris that the Sith destroyed to try to kill you and your precious Bastilla. Taris, my homeworld.
I'm sorry, Johanny, I did not know.
If it were not for you and Bastilla, the Sith would have never had reason to destroy that world. It was your fault for being there, and your fault for rescuing Bastilla. Without your intervention, the Sith would have had no cause to lay waste to my childhood.
But...
Just let me vent my anger. I need someone to blame. Something. Anything. I hated that world. Yet everything I learned as a child, I learned there. It is as much a part of me as the air I breathe. I have this ache inside me, where all my childhood memories lay, and I find your face there with them. If it was not for you, that world would still exist.
I'm sorry, Johanny. There was no way to prevent it.
I know. I suppose I realized that. But it is so hard to lose your entire past. You would not understand.
It will be alright, Johanny.
Yes. Yes, I suppose it will. As long as we remain focused on our task, it will. I am sorry. I will try not to distract you in the future with my trivial experiences. We should stop for now.
Okay. Johanny's character is all over the place. At first, she's like, oh, thank you, you've saved me from the dark side. Then she gets all moody about Taris and brings it up for the first time after several conversations with her. And she's like, oh, my childhood, everything I grew up, everything I knew. And then after we converse with her a little bit more, she tells us, actually, it was a terrible place, I hated it, my parents got killed. Make up your mind, woman. Though this is something that's it's either not explained or we're unable to tell it because of the graphical limitations of this game, but for my estimation, Juhani is probably a teenager because of some stories that we'll learn later on. Like, I think she's 17 or 18, 19, maybe she's pushing 20, but she's really young. And she joined the Jedi Order not too long ago. She actually joined it probably either as a preteen. And some of that stuff could explain why she, one, has a lot of difficulty managing her emotions, and two, why her mood swings are kind of all over the place.
How may I be of assistance to you, Padawan? What is it you would like to speak to me about?
What are you thinking about?
Taris was my home for many years. As much as I hated it, it was still home. A rat hole, a warren, a paradise. I suppose you could call it all these things. For me, it was hell.
How so?
To walk down the streets, to have people look at you in disgust, like an animal. Most did not know anything about me, but it was there, all the same. Because I was an alien. Because I was different from them. Frightening. I doubt any of them had even seen my people before. So they persecuted me. They looked down on me and my family. Charged us more for food. Would not let us walk their streets. They spat on us. You are human. You could not possibly know.
Humans can be just as cruel to each other.
That is true, I suppose. But it is much more obvious for someone like me. There were no other Cathar on Taris. No one to talk to, no one to confide in. But you must think me weak for saying this. But I am strong enough to admit it.
You're not weak, Juhani. It must have been hard.
I thank you for your concern, but maybe I am weak. To think that some stories of my stupid past could possibly interest you.
No, it's alright. I will be here to listen to you whenever you want.
I thank you. You are kinder than I would have expected to put up with me using you in this way. I hope that I will not use your time so badly in the future. Thank you.
I wanna
How may I
say that was probably it for now.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, she's all over the place. Now, I may have alluded to this earlier on, but Juhani has some of the, she tells you about some of the prejudice she was subjected to as a child in Taris, which you could have written about that for Mission, but for all intents and purposes, Mission was just fine in Taris. She actually liked it there. She gets really upset whenever Karth says that Taris isn't that great of a place to live in. And maybe part of the reason why such an what appears in my opinion as an obvious background aspect that could have been included to Mission wasn't, is because they used that for Juhani, and rather than be repetitive and give these two characters the same backstory in having to go through and experience this the prejudice of the humans of Taris, they just went ahead and gave that backstory to Juhani and not Mission. But again, here's the thing. Juhani was already interesting enough without having the Taris background, because she's a former fallen Jedi who's being rehabilitated by you. So why should she have this Taris background or backstory when it could have been given to Mission, who is in desperate need of more character development or characterization? We've been talking to a lot of party members, so we'll talk to Basil soon enough. these guys have nothing interesting to say. And certainly the Ithorian doesn't. Now, as I make my way back to the... I don't want to use... I know night speed is quicker, but I feel like I subject...
Bastila, I was wondering something. How did those Vulkars manage to capture a famous Jedi like you? I mean, were you knocked out when your escape pod crashed?
No, I was conscious. But my force powers were exhausted from using my battle meditation in the battle for the Ender Spire. Without my help, you might have never gotten off the ship alive.
Fair enough, but I've seen you Jedi in action. There's no way those thugs could have stood a chance against your lightsaber.
My lightsaber was misplaced. I couldn't find it after the crash. I looked everywhere in that pod. The Vulkars came and overwhelmed me even as I was searching for my weapon.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You lost your lightsaber? I mean, isn't that a violation of some kind of Jedi code or something?
Maybe losing lightsabers is a side effect of her battle meditation?
This is no laughing matter. During the crash, my lightsaber must have fallen from my belt and rolled under my seat. The Vulkars probably found it there when they searched the wreckage.
Hey, don't get mad. I'm sorry. It's just funny to think of a legendary Jedi losing her lightsaber. Take my advice. This is one detail you might want to keep out of the history texts.
I hardly consider myself a legend, Calf. Though I will consider your advice when I relate these events to the Jedi Council. There is no need for them to know every detail of what transpired.
Now, I know that I keep getting distracted when things like this happen, but I know that whenever I make a comment as to what things could be improved on, I inevitably go into saying, well, just make more. Give me more lines, more character development, more interactions with these characters. And that's probably asking for a lot, and maybe even unreasonable, because if I'm asking for more character interactions, I'm actually asking the potential developers of a remake to bring back all these voice actors, pay them additional fees, go through more animations and whatever goes into developing a game. But at the end of the day,
Bastila, did you ever think about joining all the Jedi who were running off to follow Revan and Malak when they went to fight the Mandalorians?
That was nearly 5 years ago. I was still an apprentice. My battle meditation hadn't even manifested itself. Yet even then I had the wisdom to obey the will of the Council. Unlike Revan.
I guess. Still, do you ever wonder if things could have been different? I mean, would Revan and Malak still have been corrupted if the Council had supported them instead of dragging its feet?
Do not blame Revan's corruption on the Council. Your Republic saw only the threat of the Mandalorians, but the wisdom of the Masters saw beyond the immediate threat.
Sounds like you're just making excuses, Bastila.
There was something lurking out there. Something that devoured Revan and Malak, and many other Jedi. Had the Council sent us all into the unknown, how many more would have fallen?
So you're saying we should have done nothing? Just let the Mandalorians conquer us unopposed? I mean, the Republic was under attack, and the Order abandoned us.
We did not abandon you. But the Council were not about to throw lives away foolishly. In time, we would have aided you against the Mandalorians. But you couldn't wait. Revan and Malak offered a quicker answer, and the Republic chose to walk the easy path rather than the path of wisdom. Now we see the results all around us. You asked me if I think things could have been different. I know they could have. If Revan had only listened to the Council, millions of innocent people would still be alive.
Yeah, right. And every single one of them would have been speaking Mandalorian. I think we're done here. Let's just get back to the task at hand.
Okay, now that's also interesting, and I want to comment on that. But I don't want to lose my train of thought here. Ultimately, Knights of the Old Republic is critically acclaimed not because of its epic gameplay. Actually, its gameplay is pretty bad, even when it came out, at least in my opinion, because at the end of the day, the combat is not very... what's the right word here? It's very console friendly because the game was made for the Xbox. and that's not a bad thing, but it's not your traditional turn-based RPG like the original Fallout games, and maybe even some of the original Elder Scroll games, and Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Why am I looking at this stuff? I know it's empty. So ultimately, what has made this game what made this game a critical success and why it's beloved by people like me and several others is its characters. It's in certain points also the interesting twist in this game. But really, it's characters like Bastila, characters like Karth, Jolie, HK-47 that made this game stand out. So, improving upon what was already written of these characters is, in my opinion, the natural choice to make this game better in a potential remake. But interactions like the one between Bastila and Karth, and those are the only two, and we just witnessed them in less than 10 minutes, those are really good. They flesh out their characters, they give you a little bit of background as to the story, and it's always fun to see two great voice actors like Basila's and Karth's voice actors interact. Let's see. Where is that? Do you recognize this bowcaster bolt casing?
I do not like where this is leading. I fear it can only end in sorrow.
I found it on Rowar's corpse. You killed him, didn't you? Can you explain why your bowcaster casing was found in his body? Roror was dealing with slavers. I found his data pad. Okay. So we know that this Wookiee over here, Jarak, I think his name is Jarak, right? Yeah. Jarak killed the Wookiee that we found in the Shadowlands because he was a slaver, yet for whatever reason, he doesn't want it to be made public that the Wookiee that we found in the Shadowlands was dealing with slavers. Let's see, this is the... Okay, so yeah, down here. Do you know who owns this bolt casing? I found Jarak's bolt casing on Rowar's corpse. Wait, if he's executed, I get paid. Is there no alternative to death as punishment?
Good thinking. Jarek doesn't strike me as the type to murder for no reason.
Jarek, won't you say anything in your own defense? Jack, I won't let you do this. Rowar was dealing with slavers. No, I won't let this happen. Look at Abner. He's very passionate about this. Rowar dealt with slavers. The datapad I found on his corpse proves it.
How sad. It feels like the right thing to do, but to destroy a hero.
My reward? What reward? Can I ask you if anything is happening now? Goodbye to you. I don't know. Neither Bioware nor Obsidian did a job at really giving you, the player, sort of these interesting scenarios as to whether or not you could find what is the actual moral thing to do. Because it's kind of obvious here. This guy was dealing with slavers. What if he was considered a hero in the community? You know who else was a hero in the community? Al Capone. Al Capone was loved by the people in Chicago because he frequently donated to local causes and made appearances to local events and was generally cherished by the people around him. He was also a brutal mobster that killed a lot of people. I don't think anybody would say that Al Capone was anything but a monster. So if this was BioWare's attempt at giving you some sort of morally gray scenario, I don't know. And by the way, it's not like it's giving you an option of like, well, if you let an innocent somebody who, because it's not like Jarak was innocent. He did murder somebody, but there were circumstances that I guess in Wookiee culture excused his behavior. It certainly wouldn't excuse him under American jurisprudence, but I mean, it's pretty black and white in my opinion. This guy was awful, and he was killed because he was engaging in some pretty nefarious activity. There. Now, I could be using night speed to get through this a little quicker, but I feel like I've already subjected enough of this game to the horrible screen effect of it. And just take me down. And I want to say we've almost cleared up most of this place already. There might be a couple of those bull-looking... Actually, what are those things? I should know their name by memory, but I don't. Oh. Awful sound of the tact. Let's see. Yeah, Circa people are right here. Wait, did I say disable or pick up? Actually, I should be. These are mine, right? I can pick them up. Ah. Awful.
Who are you, another civil merchant like that Koro slime up on the docking ring? This is my territory. I don't make deals, and I don't persuade easily, so go back topside. Mess with my profits, and I'll see you dead.
Are you the poachers Jolie told me about?
This old fool is still alive. I suppose he's still upset that we don't all live in little homemade shacks like he chooses. I've got a job to do here, and there's nothing you or that old coot can do about it.
I want to ask you a few questions.
If you made it this far, you know a fair bit already. What would I be able to tell you?
I'm looking for something called a star map.
I'm no nav officer. I work on the ground, and I haven't seen anything like that around here. Of course, we haven't been much deeper than this. The eastern forest gets even more dangerous.
You're unsafe with blasters?
Not worth it. You're fighting the plants as well as the animals. Kashi vines are tough as metal and grow back fast. Instead, head office installed repulsor fields to keep the big predators out. Permanent placements, too. We'll be fine for years.
I have questions about this Shadowlands.
If you made it this far...
Are you part of the slaving operation?
What? No, I don't do much of that. It's too much of a headache. I'm in the business of harvesting animals. Some of the more exotic species have organs that can be removed and put to some surprising applications. Talk to me about work, and maybe I'll tell you more.
Back to my journal questions.
Eating into my profits.
What if I want you to leave the Shadowlands?
Is that old hermit Jolie trying to talk you into doing his dirty work? We've spent too much on setting up just to walk away. As long as the sonic emitters keep the Preds away and I've got bodies to guard the perimeter, we're staying right here. I mean, if I can put up with my own worthless guards complaining about this place, Jolie whining through you is nothing.
I'm leaving.
Good. I'm not down here to direct traffic.
As much as I don't care for the tact, I'm not going to kill them either because it's simply not worth it. Financially or either my time.
You want anything, you'll have to talk to the commander. He's in charge of our harvest.
I'd rather ask about you. Why are you here?
Why am I here? I'm here because this is where the commander told me to stand. And that's all there is to it. I'm just a guard for this emitter. Why couldn't they have just equipped this lump of tech with a blaster and left me at home?
want to ask you some questions.
I'm not here because I know stuff. I handle a blaster well enough to guard this emitter, and that's it. Talk to the commander.
This is a dangerous place. Could I persuade you to leave?
No more dangerous than walking out on the commander. He'd kill me for disobeying orders. I'm not...
What do these emitters do?
They generate a sonic barrier that allows us to stay in this wonderful location. It keeps the big predators away. I don't know how it works, really. I just know that if they go down, the camp will be overrun.
So only the emitters are keeping you here?
What of it?
So if somebody shut them down, you could leave?
I don't like being here, that's for sure. I suppose you could take this code and shut down the emitter I'm guarding. Enough of those emitters go down, and the camp will have to move out. But I never said anything.
Well, that was easy. And...
You want anything, you'll have to talk to the commander.
You sound just like that other guy.
Here. Why I'm... No more I'm not... What do you want to... I don't like... Enough of those...
What?
Run! Run!
And that got rid of them. Let's get rid of these mines before we come back here. Now, Circa was made a lot more interesting in Knights of the Old Republic too, but they were already they were well written in my opinion by Bioware in this game. I certainly enjoyed the fact that they're so corporate about their evil operations. It very much, at least I think so, kind of a callback to corporate dystopias from RoboCop and what's another movie I'm thinking of? Blade Runner.
Welcome back. I wonder, have you had much luck? Have you done as I asked?
I've made certain that the poachers are gone.
Yes, I could feel it as you walked near. And I don't sense the smell of death on you. You spared them. Interesting.
That's what you wanted. Enough. Have I passed your little test?
If you imagined a meaning behind it, I suppose that's good. But I don't think such a trivial thing is any real measure of a person.
If you didn't care about the outcome, why have me do this?
You were here and it needed doing. Besides, dealing with the Circa is dirty business. I hope you washed your hands.
You mentioned eliminating barriers. Could we get to it?
I know where you want to go. I can get you through to the old paths. This forest hides some strange things. There's also a Circa repulsor field blocking the way, past the poacher camp in the east. I saw it when it was installed, so I know how to pass it. And on the other side, ancient answers. And perhaps a Wookiee you were seeking. I hope he's in the mood for visitors.
Alright, Jolie has joined the party, and with that, we have all 9 party members. Now, who do I want to take with me? Bastila does have Destroy Droid, which might be very useful. But we haven't rocked with T3 in a while. But at the same time, he's not very useful in combat. And where we're going with is very much combat centric. Let's go with Canderous. He hasn't been in the party for a while. And boy, gotta do plenty of level up here. for both these guys. You were focusing on blasters. And Dex. I mentioned this at the beginning. I don't know why he had so much strength. And comes with one of the better rifles in the game. Really no reason to give him another rifle. Toughness. And some more toughness. For Jolie, he is the, to use RPG terms, the resident mage. Because he focuses primarily... Look at that. Only one skill point. Computer... Wait. Computer uses... I forgot that. Computer apparently seems to be a a class skill for consulars. Oh, you also have Destroy Droid. Awesome. Yeah, let's not give him that. He's already spec'd into status. So let's give him... Oh. Too soon for that. Choke. No, that's... Now you can choke people. Wisdom. And what do you recommend? For shield? Yeah, that's fine. Feats. He's already spec'd into single wield, so let's focus on that. Oh, 2. This is the good thing about consulars. They sometimes get 2 force powers. Throw your lightsaber real good. Actually, could you get... Yeah. Destroy droid. Perfect. No, one more. Now, mechanic I don't think I've talked about is... force powers are divided between dark side, universal, and light side powers. The closer you are to the light side, the less force points it'll cost to cast a light side point. But if you are but conversely, the more it'll cost to use a dark side power. However, charisma mitigates that, and one of the good things about Jolie as somebody who is neutral is that even though he has a high charisma stat, he is able to use basically all light side, universal, and dark side powers without incurring much of a penalty for using powers that are opposite his alignment, because he's not opposite to any alignment. He's dead set neutral. Which I don't get it. He's clearly a light side Jedi. He never does anything to indicate that he would do something evil. Quite to the contrary, he's very much a light side Jedi who just, for game mechanics, I guess, is given a neutral point in his alignment.
What?
And, oh, here we go. Actually, I want to compare something real quick. 160. Yeah, wait. Wow. Doesn't have that much force powers over me.
Yes?
Take that!
And I think that's all the enemies in this area. Actually, how much do you... Oh, couldn't
Yes?
tell. Probably heals more than Abner, though. These canisters are... At least one of them is important to complete missions quest. Should be... Tech land. We could also get it by killing all the tech that we've done the circuit commander's quest, but financially not important. Too much of a hassle to go around killing these annoying monkeys. Now, I think the Shadowlands actually appear in Jedi Fallen Order, but they're certainly not depicted as dark as this place. Something that differentiates how Kashyyyk is depicted in this game as opposed to any other game is that, first off, Kashyyyk always seems to either be perpetually nighttime here, and it only gets darker the lower you descend to the forest level. But even the depiction in Star Wars Episode 3, it's shown as a very sunny place, and Wookiees living at the forest floor level, when this game tells you, yeah, Wookiees don't live at the forest floor. It's too dangerous down there. I don't know if that was retcon, sorry, or if the way you're supposed to interpret that in your mind is, well, in thousands of years passed, eventually the Wookiees got around to colonizing the forest level, so they don't just live on the treetops.
There, you see? Beautifully subtle, isn't it? At least compared to the other circuit equipment dumped down here. It's only been here a short while, or the Wookiees would have disabled it. They wouldn't have had an easy time of it, though.
Why place this thing here?
But there are others, each blocking similar points on certain paths. It is all very calculated, very precise. It would have been effective if it hadn't relied on the creatures to be walking. Climbers don't have much trouble getting around it.
I trust you can get past it? You said so.
I can manipulate it for a moment. Let me see. How did the Zerg engineers do it? There we go. Now, keep moving. These are the most dangerous depths of Kashyyyk. A few surprises wait for us, I'll wager.